We all have an ego. Some are bigger than others. But I feel like it's a lot of misconceptions about the word ego and exactly what that means. The actual definition of the word ego is a person's sense of self-importance. So if you have a really big sense of self-importance, you probably have a big ego. A lot of people think that if you have a big ego, that means you're super confident. But really, that's not the case. It's actually the complete opposite. The word confident means feeling or showing certainty, which is not the same as thinking the world revolves around you, which is what, essentially, that's what people who have big egos think. And I like to really go over the definition of words because I feel like a lot of people misuse a lot of words, including myself. And that's why I like to, reiterate the definition of certain things just to make sure that we're on the same page. So first things first, having a big ego does not just mean you think you're superior to people. Having a big ego also can mean you think you're inferior to people. And somebody might be like, if I think I'm less than people, if I think I'm inferior to people, how does that mean that I have a big ego? Let me explain. It's because it's still self-centric. Your thought process is still revolving around you and how you look and how people perceive you. And for a while, I just thought that people who had a big ego were like excessively confident. But I had to check myself and realize like, whoa, I kind of have a big ego too. Because I found myself at shows and performances, and other singers will, go before me. And I will find myself like comparing myself to them and being like, oh my gosh, she can sing better than me. She can hit all those runs and I can't do that. What if people don't like me as much as her? Like, what if people think she's better than me? Like, her being better than me and being a better singer than me really means that I'm not good enough. Like, in order for me to be good enough, that means somebody has to be lower than me. And that's egotistical. That's very egotistical. And it's very self-centric and very egocentric. The past few performances I've had have honestly been the best performances I've ever had. And I've really had time to really sit and analyze and think about why. And the reason why is because when I'm up there, I'm not really thinking much about myself. I'm just feeling the music and I'm really just in the moment. And when I'm up there, I remind myself, Kyla, whether you do good or bad, nobody's gonna lose sleep over your performance. Even if you do good and they become a fan, they are gonna go on about their lives like it's nothing. You're not that important. You're really not that important. It's not to say that you should think low about yourself because there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between thinking highly of yourself and thinking a lot about yourself. It's not wrong to think a lot of yourself, but it's very egocentric to think a lot about yourself because there's a difference. Yes, I'm very confident in myself and I love myself. So I'm not going to tolerate people treat me however they want to treat me. And also, I'm not going to let how other people feel about me or think about me or their perception of me affect how I feel about myself. I don't give two fucks. Shout out to Mir. Shout out to my wife. I don't give two fucks about what you think about me because I'm literally going to be in that casket by myself. I've said it a million times. But at the same time, I don't think much about myself because I feel like a part of being a human being is being. You shouldn't constantly be thinking your every move and thinking about how do people think about me? How do people perceive me? That's egocentric. So it's really good and really healthy to remind yourself there's billions of people walking this earth. Not only is there billions of people alive and walking this earth, people literally die every day, all the time. People are literally born every day, all the time. So it's like, yes, your existence is important. Your existence is important. But it's not that important. It's not that important. It's really hard for our egos to handle that and take that. But you have to look past that and you have to really remind yourself, I am a soul. I have an ego. I do have an ego while I'm here in this human body. But I am a soul. I'm not an ego. I'm a soul, not an ego. When you allow your ego to become you, that's what causes a lot of misery and self-destruction and emptiness in your life. I think when you have a big ego, or even if you're an egomaniac, which is it's a little more extreme version of having a big ego. I feel like those type of people feel a lot of emptiness because they don't really know how to. It's not even that they don't know how. It's that they just aren't willing to really open up to people so that they can make genuine connections with people. And that's why a lot of times people who are egomaniacs, they don't have a lot of friends. They don't really have many close friends. Or just many close people in their life, period. And when I say close, just because you talk to somebody a lot does not mean you're close. I'm talking about people actually being able to say, like, I really know you. Like, I really feel your soul and your spirit when I talk to you. A lot of people who are egomaniacs or people who have big egos, they don't have that. Because their ego won't allow them to really be vulnerable and open up to people. It's almost like I don't really want to show you all the sides to me, because if I show you certain sides to me, you might not approve of that. You know, certain things about me may not be acceptable. And it's like, you have to remind yourself, people might notice certain things about you, observe certain things about you, or notice your flaws, or whatever the case is. But even if they do, at the end of the day, they really don't care that much. They really don't care that much. They're really not thinking about you that much. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. Everybody has an ego. If you're a human being, you have an ego. But people who have small egos, those are the people who are genuinely confident and secure with themselves, because they don't really think much about themselves. That doesn't mean they don't think highly of themselves. They are confident in themselves and they understand what they deserve as a human. But they don't really think much about themselves. They just live. They just live life, and you have to operate from a place of love, whether it's self-love or whether it's love for other people. And sometimes in certain situations, self-love comes first. Like, you have to put your love for yourself first. And then in other situations, you have to be compassionate and put yourself in other people's shoes and really try to put your love for them first. And it really just depends on the situation. But I feel like when you operate from a place of love, you have a small ego, because you're constantly conscious of the fact that the world doesn't revolve around you, and that there's billions of motherfuckers walking around this earth, and your job while you're here is to spread as much love as you can. Your ego can destroy a lot of relationships. It can destroy your friendships, and it can block a lot of opportunities from coming into your life. And for the moment when your ego is being fed, it feels good, but it's only temporary. It doesn't really last long. So then you're chasing your next ego high. And I think one of the things that helps me the most, which I've mentioned in quite a few videos, is meditation. And when people hear meditation, they get overwhelmed because they think like, oh, I have to sit for an hour in this silent place with candles and incense and meditation music. You don't have to do all that. It's cool if you can. You know, I do all those things sometimes. But I don't do that shit every day. I meditate every day, but I literally only meditate for 5 minutes. 5 minutes a day. If I can and if I have time, I'll meditate more times a day for longer periods of time. You know, it just depends. But I feel like meditation is definitely a big part. It's definitely been a big help in keeping my ego in check, because I can be a little bit of an egotistical motherfucker. The only difference between, I guess, me and most people who, you know, struggle with their ego is I don't like it. Like, I don't like the way it feels when I'm being egotistical. I don't like when I'm looking at another person's win or another person's success and I'm being envious and feeling like, why did they get that and not me? That's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And because I don't like that feeling, I'm always trying to fight it and find a way to get rid of that shit. Not completely get rid of it, because like I said, everybody has an ego, and it's not bad to have an ego. It's just, you want to try to get it as small as possible. Yeah, so that's all I have to say for today. I'm kind of bored, you know, with the living room background. But I'm also bored with, you know, the backgrounds that I have. So I'm gonna have to hit up the fabric store. Give me some new backgrounds. Maybe I'll get some tie-dye or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of in need of some suggestions. You guys watch my videos. So, I mean, I don't know. I would like to hear what you guys, you know, want to see or want to hear me talk about. Or if you guys have any ideas in mind, I'm always open to, you know, suggestions. And yeah, that's it. Until next time. Deuces. Peace out, motherfuckers.